This is Jim from the Urban Farmers, and in this episode I'm going to show you how I made these raised beds. Now for this particular bed we've gone with 3 metre long pine treated sleepers, and we're going for 1 metre wide. When joining the end to the sides, we find that staggering the joints gives you a lot better structural stability, and then when we lay the next level on, we just do the opposite, similar to what you see in bricklaying. It adds an element of structural integrity that's important to hold back all that soil. Okay, we've pinned all the sides together to the ends, and as you can see, we need something to hold both layers together. So we're going with these hardwood stakes. Now they're 600 long, and they're 50 by 50, and they should secure them fairly well. And we're just going to screw from each side, and then when we put our second layer on, we've got something to bind the two layers together. And particularly in the sides, we want to have some good structural integrity there, because once these beds are filled with soil, we don't want these sides to bow out. So having a couple in the middle is important as well. And having these 600, the sides of the garden bed is 400 in total, and that gives us a 200 spike that we can use the sledgehammer to get them into the soil and secure the beds to the ground. Okay, we're ready for the second level, what will end up being the bottom of the bed. So I mentioned earlier about staggering the joints, so you can see we've got the long side coming right to the end, and then we've butted the end piece to that. Then when it comes to the second level, we're just going to do the exact opposite. So the long side will come to here, and then we'll get the other end, and we'll just slot that in there. And what that's going to do is create a much tighter and structurally sound joint to help hold that soil in. To pin the sides, suggest using something fairly strong like a 100mm batton screw. This is a galvanised batton screw with a hex end, and we just want to drive those in. Alright, with the bed completed, one of the tips I can throw out there is that if you're going to build something of this size, it's always a good idea, if possible, to build it as close as to where it needs to be moved to. Now fortunately, my situation, it's just going over there, so there's not too much to move. Alright, the bed's going to go in the middle here, so it's important to get site preparation completed before making the big move. What I've done, for the interest of making sure the bed's levelled, is I've just raked out as best I can to make sure that it is nice and level, as this side over to the right is the higher side, so I want to dig down a little bit more and hopefully get that bed nice and level. Okay, the bed's in. We've taken a sledgehammer and a level, and we've knocked it in until the bubble centered, and all those hardwood stakes are nice and secure into the ground now. There's a little bit of a gap under the bottom of the bed, that's alright. I've got a mound of my bark over here that I actually raked away from around there. It's just a matter of filling back in, getting back to its natural level to fill out those walkways. Then of course the hard part, shoveling in all that soil. Alright, I'm about halfway, or a bit over halfway of filling the bed. I just want to point out that we all make mistakes, and it's important to learn from them. And in between building the bed and filling the soil, I went ahead and made this fence, and I effectively limited my access to the bed to shovel the soil that I have stored over here. But fortunately, there's still a path of access, which means that I've better get on with it. Okay, the bed's pretty much complete. I've started to mix through this Vermiculite. It's a pH neutral inert medium that's usually used for hydroponics, but you can mix it through your soil. It's good for water retention, but especially aeration. Now, with this particular bed, I'm mainly going to be growing carrots in here, so it's going to be really good for them, so they can dive those roots down, that taproot which we love to eat so much. And for anything else growing in here, it's going to make it nice and easy for it to develop a good root structure, good, easy to manage soil. It's pretty good stuff already, but as you can see, when we start to mix this stuff through it, it just turns it into gold. I feel pretty lucky that I can do this with my hands. That just looks unbelievably good stuff to grow in. Really looking forward to planting a full bed of carrots in here. It's like baking. Now, this bed is about 3 meters long and 1 meter wide, and I've chosen to go with 45 litres of this Vermiculite. 45 litres, so that's 3 15-litre bags. Should be enough to get the results that I want. Alright, that just about does it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed the building of this bed. If you have any questions, please comment and I'll do my best to answer them. And stay tuned as I turn this into a bed of carrots. Take it easy.